Okay, and we are back after a blue screen of death. But seems like now the Stream Deck's actually installed, so that's great. And I had it configured with some settings, but I suppose I will now focus on what we want to do now. So timer, let's see. So there is the existing timer. I suppose we can, it's in seconds. So let's see. We want 60 seconds time 20 minutes. And I think, yeah, at this point it does a sound. And it would be for sort of the episode timer, right? Let's put another one and try it with 1 second with no sound and see what happens if I hit it. So it's possible that I would miss this. It's quite small. So ideally we'd have a better timer. Stream Deck, plugin, timer. Analog clock. Okay, Barrator, stream timer. Okay. That's one of the open source framework that we've played with before. Let's see. PU, analog clock. Counter. Yeah, that's the one that we played with. Mute. Oh, haven't started the music. I actually can't hear the music these days, so that's something to improve for next stream. And focus timer streamathon. No supports increasing or decreasing. Okay, well, let's just download it and try it out. Stream countdown timer. Let's say time 1 second. Auto reset after 0 seconds, so it never auto resets. Pause image. Sound on the timer end. Support increasing, decreasing time on every quick press. And multi-line. I see. Okay, let's try it. Same thing. It will be. It's good that it continues counting. And so maybe streamathon mode is actually a good idea. And maybe there is a way to have a proper image. Let's see. Support increasing, decreasing. Right, and that's 5-minute increment. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I would say 0.02, not 0.0, about that. If I had 2 minutes, use this and pause. Can I add 2 minutes? Seems like I can. Let's try with starting from 1. Okay, and then if I click again, yeah, then it adds 2 minutes. But I suppose we can't do it once it has triggered. It's not the best. See? Yeah, and also I seem to not be able to reset it right now. Save to file must be to have this in an overlay. That makes sense. And pause image though. Let's see what do we have here. Seems like I can't reset it now because of I suppose because of this. So now can I? It's just yeah, it's just pausing it. Okay, so it has loaded a nice image, but it's not it's still not going to be visible enough. What I'd really want is the whole screen feature. I don't think we have that, and I don't think we'll find this elsewhere. I mean, let's double check, but there's a plugin timer, full screen clock. Yeah, exactly my thinking. And that's from 5 months ago. See? There's a screensaver. Maybe we can use the screensaver as the every time you lock your computer. So that's not really what we want. But I think I remember seeing from Stream Deck that there is now a full-time screensaver feature. And maybe we can use that. Stream Deck, sleep. Customize sleep setting and setting a screensaver image. For some reason, sleep after. Wait a minute. Let's say 5 minutes. Then we can try it, see if it actually pops up in the next 5 minutes, but for some reason I have a doubt. I'm thinking that if we are... yeah, well, let's try, right? But it's set to 5 minutes, so I actually probably will also put a 5-minute counter here, just so that we can track that it will actually do screen saving, but I doubt it will work while a plugin is actually running, or even while I'm if I'm I'm actually, you know, touching my mouse and active. I suspect that. But let's see. Stream Deck sleep after sleep mode. It says inactivity. Have you fall asleep during a cast? Yeah. Okay, so you will fall asleep during a cast, and it's just that we would want to also maybe have it more granular. The teachable chord. Okay, so I'm going to also set up my, I need to ignore again the Pretzel Rocks stream notification, otherwise it's making a noise. And I want the noise, but not for this. So sounds, highlight is not that. This chat message says always enabled. Match, I don't think will work. We did this last time on stream, but now I don't remember how to do it. Event chat message. Chat message. Automod. Message rejected by Automod. No, we don't want that. Notification settings. And I have a moderation or ignore. I do have Pretzel Rocks here. Did I write it correctly, right? Yes. Oh, so maybe it's ignored users. Where is this? Oh, what's going on? Something happened. Can't close it anymore. Oh, error. Specified module could not be found. Okay. Ah, great. Ignore, remove this, ignore user. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. We had 50 seconds for our yeah, I'd rather you not do that, but fine. Choose the playback device to choose the sound. Yeah, that makes sense. Sleep mode. Auto sleep. Auto wake. Would be nice indeed. Okay, watch mode. We have 3. Okay, we're supposed to be sleeping, but we clearly aren't. So, yeah, it's probably not working if things happen. So it's not inactivity as in not touch the Stream Deck. It's inactivity as in not touching the mouse or the keyboard. So that won't do for us. So I suppose, oh, well, one thing I could do, I could actually have I could duplicate that guy and then just start them all at the same time. Copy, paste. And what's a multi-action? Can I, is that a thing? Can I create multi-action? Okay, let's, I guess, get the timer again. I can't add it, fortunately. But I can add this one. What happens then? Yeah, I don't think we want that. Okay, so that's a bit strange here, but I suppose it will work. Kind of funny. And so if I press the whole thing, oh, okay, I should actually test it. So let's do like 2 minutes instead of 1. 2 minutes instead of 20. And see if I see it while I do something else. Okay, just started them all. They're all a little bit at a slightly different time, but that should be fine. Actually, it should add to the visual irregularity, which should make my brain thick. Okay. So then, yeah, then the idea that I can put in a natural cut. So I can even practice this. So when it will ring, then I'll pretend that I haven't seen it, and I'll do an outro, a fake outro. Oh, and then I should also then add a marker. So we haven't done that, but then we'll do that. That's exactly what we'll do. We'll do the marker shenanigans, and then then possibly we have several types of marker, but right now I suppose we'll only have that one, the one kind of cut type, and that should be fine. Oh yeah, we were looking at the fact that we could actually implement a marker with a description payload. So let's look at whether there's actually a Stream Deck plugin for Twitch with a marker and a description. Twitch integration. And I create stream markers. That's from 2018, so there's a good chance that that's the one that we have already here. Marker doesn't trigger anything. Oh wow, there's all these voice mod things. Oh, Twitch is not imported. Okay, let's get it. More actions, and not Twitch Studio, but Twitch. And let's install this. There's a Twitch tools as well. So let's. Well, I guess I'll install that as well. Yeah, we played with that one as well. Twitch tool contains configured profiles. Would you like to install on your devices? And yes. And that's it for now. I'm going to put a cut here for YouTube, and I'll see you in a bit. Click. All right, and we're back, and we're now going to be working on our streaming tools again and implementing a cut marker. Okay, so it did work, and it's pretty visually remarkable. So that's great. We can absolutely use that. But what I'll do is that I'll try again with only one row and put in the marker stuff now. So let's see. Create stream marker. I haven't logged in my Twitch here, so let's do this inside. including two-factor auth. Okay. Only works when you're live. No, that's a good point. I am live. And I hope so. Yes, I am live. Okay, and so let's see. If we say that this is a cut marker, then can we actually copy that, paste that, and say like that this is like a, how would you say? Like a wow marker of some sorts. And yeah, so I'll try this. I'll activate my top row here, and we'll do the same thing. I'll activate the cut, and then yeah, then maybe we'll be happy. Okay, so what about this? So then there's this idea that we want to do local recording that gets progressively uploaded. So that requires a lot more machinery, right? That requires a machinery where we are able to have some kind of relay server which will do the editing for us. So that means that I want to think about the whole web video editing aspect in terms of a remote service, but obviously we can first play with this locally before deploying it to a server, right? So that's the pretty heavy bit, but I have some thoughts about it. So first of all, there's something. So let's think a bit more about this. I think I did some of this thinking elsewhere, but let's take it from zero again just to see where we land. So one aspect is the output of Streamlabs OBS, right? And last time we played with some like routing configurations based on the limitations of being able to record things with or without overlay. Oh yeah, but since then I noted that there was something new in OBS actually, or something that I didn't see maybe before. Selective recording. So I want to check out what that is. Streamlabs OBS selective recording. And maybe it's been there for a while. You can choose the sources that will appear in a recorded video of your live broadcast. Well, that's lovely. That's exactly where we wanted. So, I mean, it does. It's not exactly where we wanted because it means that we lose those tracks. It's not like real proper multi-track recording or routing, but it's still pretty damn good. Okay, excellent. And I'm going to put a cut in here for YouTube, and I will see you right after that. All right, and we are back. Wow, this thing seems to have worked. I think this is great stuff, and we can go and check out what happened in our Twitch dashboard. Since I also put a couple of markers in, so let's go check it out. We have the markers here, but I think we are not. Yeah, we don't have a distinction between those timers, so that's something to work on. But that's pretty good. I'm going to take a little break here, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Be right back. All right, and I'm back playing with streaming tools, and let's get this cookie thing sorted here. Right. Okay, so little thought here is that the cut marker, if I take a pause like I just did now, then maybe there's a kind of a cut back or back marker of some sorts, like this one is sort of that kind of out, and then this one is we're back in. So that's need to see what's the best UX for that, because we might I don't know if I want to click 2 buttons if I'm just putting in a really tiny cut, but if we want it to be detected by an automatic process, then we want to know when an outro needs to be put in or when an intro needs to be put in, basically, for the next episode. And in fact, no, I think I know. There's an episode cut marker, which is one thing, and then there's a break marker and a back from break marker. That makes sense. Okay. So there will be several types of natural cuts, which makes total sense. Yeah, plus the Streamergy, so cut and so yeah, there's cut markers and then break markers, and then Streamergy markers. Lovely. Okay, excellent. So then so one thing that we don't have right now is the ability to have those markers be different. Right now they are the same. If I reload this, what's going to happen? I see those markers right there, and if I zoom in here, I go back to the beginning. That's really not nice. I suppose if I put them zoom in here, then at least I will. And yeah, 24, those are. Yeah, I can go back and forth between them, but they don't have payload. And I can't modify the payload either here. I think I can in the stream manager, right? I think there's a marker at stream marker with description. Yeah, that's right. There is. And yeah, that can be put with some description, like back from break. And then if we go look in the highlights, we've done this before, but it will show the marker. And this time it actually has a different color even. It's interesting. I wonder if we can... Okay, and we are back after... Maybe we used the... Maybe for a start we used the regular marker for the episode cut marker. And that's the only thing we use. And then, because that's the main one, and then we develop more markers. And then we can add features. But then we say that this one is the marker without metadata. Okay, so we'll ignore that one. That sounds fine to me. And then what? Then so after a stream, or possibly even during a stream, so we have some locally recorded video. And actually, shall I try that even on OBS? So if I say toggle selective recording, seems like I can't. Maybe because I'm streaming. Probably because I'm streaming. Okay, so I'll need to do this when I start my my game stream. It's quite small. Okay. And so then I have this locally recorded stream. Right now we're going to, especially for the prototype, so I suppose I should note prototype here. So well, Stream Deck, a row of alarms. Set markers. That's one of the open source. Then selective recording. And I think we're saying in MKV, just to be future proof, because this should be, you should not require to close the container. And okay, so then we sort of somewhat we import the markers. So this could be streaming or whatever, but it's through the Twitch API. We'll see, think about how we do that in a second. And then with this MKV, we use those markers. And so here there's, you know, we probably want, even in the prototype, to be able to visualize those things in a kind of a timeline. So I suppose we could prototype with an existing video editor or something like that, and convert the markers so that they can be used in that fashion. But so I'll write something here in the effect of import recording and markers. On a timeline, an editing timeline. Because then we want to be able to sort of have the insert the intro, outro automatically. Add voiceovers where needed, and then create the thumbnail and do the upload, do the YouTube upload. And I think that's pretty much it from a user story standpoint. So, okay, so this is obviously kind of the big one here. And can we reuse anything here? So if you candidates, there's composition, because it uses Haskell and FFmpeg in the back. It's already has a video timeline. It's in, yeah. So that's an obvious one. It will also detect more than the markers, but yeah, I guess it has some facilities for that. So that seems like a natural choice, and it uses FFmpeg in the background, but there's no reason why we couldn't then do something fancier if we wanted. And FFmpeg, it's not like it's not good, it's definitely good. I want GStreamer because I think it's better, but especially for just doing commands of like merging and splitting and whatever, it'll probably be a lot already for us. So that sounds like a pretty good idea. Then I suppose we could even do the import of the Twitch markers. I mean, there's a question is like, why do we even send those markers to Twitch, right? Ultimately, we kind of don't really need to. We could just create a Stream Deck plugin that that puts them in some marker file, or you know, a metadata, streaming metadata format of some sort. The thing is that this might actually be simpler than to implement a Twitch API marker fetching. Okay, so it has loaded. The thing is that it would require doing some stream marker here. Let's look at other what I really want is the other plugins for the Stream Deck here. Real-time voice changer, Twitch Studio, Spotify integration, CPU time, mic mute, dashboard. Set or activate your devices, a few UV lights, that's obvious commands and tools for instant replay, drop frame alarm, modifying browser and video sources, modifying transition and filters. Wow, yeah, that's quite a lot of, that's pretty good. Let's install this. I mean, I haven't installed OBS Studio here yet, but, and then what? Stream elements. Yeah, that's the Twitch's thing, I think. Elia Shadowplay. That's not really what we want, but I think that we're seeing from Stream Deck that there is now a full-time screensaver feature. Hardware accelerated screen recording utility for Windows PCs. Huh. So it's NVIDIA's own stuff for streaming and recording. Didn't overcost. Shadowplay's instant replay mode is really recorded this moment like a DVR for you. Right, right. So that's just like a kind of a local highlights function. And you record unlimited length gameplay video with up to 8K HDR 30 FPS or 4K HDR 60 FPS. It's also hardware accelerated, so you can run in the background. That's really interesting, right? And you don't have to worry about whether video recording can negatively affect your system performance. Yeah. Yeah, well, let's try. And it can stream as well. And you know what? That probably uses GStreamer underneath, because NVIDIA does all of its stuff with GStreamer. But the thing is this open source? And I bet you it isn't. And then we're kind of tying ourselves with NVIDIA, which everybody loves to hate. Okay, NVIDIA Shadowplay GitHub. Index Shadowplay is open source, but there's a Shadowplay API client. Okay, so you will fall asleep during a cast. It's just that. Or it needs the GeForce Experience client for this to work. And I think this is pardon my French, but I will say this is a piece of crap. This is something like that asks you to log in, and it's just a user data harvester, I think. I don't know whether I want any of that stuff. I mean, I don't, unfree NVIDIA drivers is something I suppose I can tolerate, but that piece of bloatware, I can't. So it's just a proprietary thing to which there's an API. GeForce development. So yeah, it comes with that whole driver. Probably, I mean, I'm supposing that that's the main way in which you install it. And it's probably a bit tricky if you want to have the same capability without using this GeForce thing. So I'd like to know more about how it works, but I don't want to use this particular technology. I wonder whether there's any real technical difference with grabbing the screen or grabbing even a direct game capture through the OBS game, because that I think is also hardware accelerated. I'd like to know all of this. Oh, sorry, this must have been playing, and because I don't have feedback, audio feedback on what's playing at the desktop, I wasn't noticing. Sorry. Yeah. So that's something to look at a little bit later. I'll put it in the to-do here. Research difference between Shadow Play and NVIDIA. Shadow Play hardware accelerated capture and OBS game capture. Okay, technical difference, right? And let's just search for this just in case it's obvious. Okay, let's look at the conclusion. Shadow Play and OBS depend entirely on your needs. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card and want to record your gameplay while streaming at the same time, which is simple tool with a cool interface, go for Shadow Play. It's a great choice for streaming. It provides an overlay tool. That's nice. It also has a really cool game recording feature that you won't find in OBS. GIF Creator, Instant Replay and Highlights. It's easy to show you recording the Shadow Play and even create beautiful high-resolution screenshots with the Ansel feature. And if you're an NVIDIA geek, it's really handy to have all your gaming features, drivers, and optimization options in one GeForce Experience application. Customize streaming layout. Exactly what you want from your streams recording, and no problem figuring out text specs and encoding settings. Definitely give it a place to try. Extremely powerful. Let's see CPU performance. You can't use Twitch streaming and shadow recording at the same time. Ah, okay. Let's save your stream to post online afterward in another program. Yeah. YouTube seems to be missing from the list. Okay, so yeah, there's, in spite of what you read on the internet, Shadow Play does affect game performance, only by little. While the typical performance decrease of 5%, for more demanding games can rise as high as 10%. On the other hand, OBS is known to use a significant amount of CPU power. Yeah, obviously lots of... Okay, so I think... I mean, this is obviously not deeply technical here. OBS can use a GPU NVENC, hardware encoder chip, like you select almost any kind of file container. Yeah. OBS, on the other hand, says built-in editing software. What? I think the term is not right. Not really editing. I don't think I've missed this huge capability of OBS. I mean, that would be ridiculous. OBS video editing. I need to check it out. Post-production tool you can use, right? That's actually a good something to look at. When does it? Oh, 2015. Oof. That's a bit too. Yeah, it's a bit too old. Let's see. Look for something in the past year. Okay, it's in the wiki. So I suppose it might have been edited if it's in the wiki, but it's not a proper wiki, so we don't have a history. What do you call something wiki when it's not collaborative? Or I mean, maybe it is collaborative. Maybe I need to log in order to see those things. Oh, I see. That's what you mean by contributing. Wow, that's not best. How to edit video in OBS? What? This is just goddamn advertising, isn't it? With all the same video displayed, like that's the advertising. That's just like views harvesting for the video. Oh my god, it's terrible. I hate it. Okay, top 4 obvious to help you with your obvious videos. That sounds like clickbait as well. We need to a movie maker. Okay. Oh, right. The problem with composition is that it's not going to work on Windows, right? No. macOS. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not impossible, but yeah, I would hate having to do that again. But the truth is, we do need to decide which OS we're going to be doing some of these streaming tools things. And I suppose that's the only reason why I might still be doing Windows things is for the streaming tools stream. Because for both the PureScript and the Haskell streams, it kind of makes sense to go on NixOS. But for streaming tool, I suppose it kind of makes sense to be on Windows if we want to do something that will be reusable by others. So that would mean potentially making composition available for Windows, and maybe we can apply all of the things we've learned and suffered through with our Haskell on Windows before to try and make this build on Windows. It's probably not impossible. And that would be kind of a lot of work in itself, right? And it wouldn't be exactly prototype. It would be more like the MVP kind of thing. It could be that we actually start with Nix to get some of the basics done. Well, no, I can't really because I can't. The other reason for Windows is that the games that I will be playing will be Windows games mostly. So that's another reason to have to be on Windows. So okay. So is there another way then? We could do it. I suppose we could do just sort of scripting FFmpeg, right? Then we don't really have a timeline though. So let's see. And do we have an open source video editor for Windows? Windows Kden Live. I will have trouble with this. Is it scriptable? Doesn't look like it. It's based on FFmpeg. I mean, we'll go check it out. Where really you're making a list and you're not even. Oh, okay. It's not very visible. Open source video editor. Okay, let's just download it. Okay, do not use the uninstall utility install before 10 July, okay? Standalone version, just double click. That's just installable. I like, well, it's pretty, that's the first time I see this. Huh. It didn't come up before and it's multi-platform. And okay, there's a multi-track video editing, use any video format. This is configurable interface. Keyboard shortcuts, 2D title for the. So yes, that's template support. Yes, absolutely want that. Effects and transition, more fine. Audio video scopes. That's professional. Proxy editing. Well, that's really good. I mean, we are not gonna necessarily benefit from that unless if we choose to make Kdenlive like kind of the desktop client, and that there would be a web client somehow. Oh, automatic backup, online resources. Okay, let's install it. Render profile. Timeline preview. Render, keyframeable effects, nice. Nameable interface, also nice. A theming engine. Okay. So in let's see. I'm thinking about if it's scriptable or maybe hackable in some ways, that the plugin system or the API are good. Then that's nice. Maybe more than a prototype. Yeah, maybe like a desktop client version. I mean, I would hate not to do the composition thing, but okay. So let's put this here. Kdenlive, right? Capture is also possible. Non-KD desktops. Okay, how does it work actually? This works. Okay, amazing. There must be some interface layer with Windows. Custom effects, transition, timeline, importing, clip management, Windows issues, render problem. There's a few issues that have workarounds. For rendering, you get this thing to you and wrong effects of black frame at the end of the last clip. Okay. Audio crackling while playing. Go back audio backend with a specific backend. Qt platform plugin, so that will be the interfacing layer for Windows. First time use seems to be solved. Intel graphic card. I mean, now 2 graphic card, maybe that's going to be an issue. Timeline stuttering. Got a major Win update. Update all drivers. App data. It's really well documented, all these issues. that inspires confidence. And so let's look at the code. Imagine it's in C or C++. Well, they don't have their, oh, they have their own GitLab. And it looks like it's at least the C family. C++. Well, it'd be really useful to take a look at this. I wonder how well they fare in terms of like modern practices for things like GPU and zero copy pipelines, and what is part of the stuff is part of the engine, what is delegated to FFmpeg and whatnot. Okay, but that doesn't mean that it's scriptable. KDN Live. Scripting. Rendering scripts. Editing video, timing everything, especially how long it takes you to edit the clip project or footage you're working on. You need to export sequences of your timeline separately. KDN Live are a great way to do it. You can set guides in your project that establishes zones. You can generate rendering script that will export this zone at a later date during your sleep or while you hunt and find your food. That's funny. Let's check how to do this. Speaking sections with guides. Start by adding a clip into timeline. Add guide. So all of this needs to be done with the UI. Sections and output file. Generate script. And show the script. It's a shell script that's generated there. So if we reverse engineer that, then maybe we can just import, like create a script from all of that stuff, the markers and the imported video, and then generate some shell script and then pass them to KDN Live and then let it do its rendering thing, and then pipe that output of that to uploading to YouTube, and we're done. Like a fully automated pipeline in case we don't want to edit things. Interesting thought. And then we can start the rendering script in a command line terminal. Yeah. Yeah. So these are called, the main feature there is guides, right? It's those the markers. So can you programmatically create guides? Facility multi-render. Bash script. No longer using KDN Live for video work, using Olive instead. Okay. Some people are ahead of us, so maybe we want to see where they're heading. But what is this? Okay. My advice: don't hurt yourself with KDN Live and use Olive instead. Just thank me later. Okay, that's a bit sad, but I guess maybe if you want to already say it's switch. Okay, yeah, I do wonder. And oh, really? Okay. Garbage fire. Wow, that's mean. I don't know if I want to air this. And two-factor. But let's maybe we look at only 0.2 coming soon. Okay, let's look at how it's built. Also C++. I like how clean this looks. Also works on Windows. That's a 0.2 upcoming major release, complete rewrite, cutting edge features who help you make the best video possible. Node compositing. Okay, where are you guys in release? 0.1 in about a year ago. You do have a project. 0.2 pre-alpha Razor. Razor were the most fundamental way that people used to cut footage. That was the most basic to require was Razor. If there is the most basic thing that an LED would need to be, it is a Razor. Razors are also sharp. Razors don't have protective shield on them. The person using them would take care isn't taken. Hamburg goal, summary have already put into place within Olive. Caching. All footage is cached on demand. Where demand currently means adding footage to the timeline. This system takes the frames from the encoding bit stream of this encode and re-encodes it to Olive's native state. Native state is a half-float 16-bit still frame on disk. So this cache, including the option to cache on ingestion, results in the proper quality level required for work within an Olive. So that seems like a mix of proxying and caching. Node-based workflow directed at cyclic graph. Node is represented as an entity in the graph. The data flow is a singular direction. That makes total sense to me. Although, yeah, I wonder whether those are separate inputs. Offline online pipeline work for node called terms. The tutorial was constructed of film work prints to keep the pristine negatives in their required pristine shape. Later, resolution of the bit depth played a role, and so the idea of an offline to maintain to keep digital machines able to keep up with the real-time playback needs. Extending this further, Olive maintains an offline online system. It keeps an offline cache version of the footage subject to the above outline at the bit depth required to maintain near 1:1 with the final for quality online. Close to real-time feedback, GPU, CPU multi-threading, very complex facets, race conditions, pixel management, entire chains designed from the ground up to follow basic color science, colorimetric pixel management, then color IO version 1, migration to version 2 and variable will happen. This means that Olive support ACSS. Okay, that seems like really high attention to the video engineering side of things. Still images frames. First class component. Proper pixel management. Remaining Olive 0.8 targets. Longitudinal time code. Oh yeah, we want that. Open timeline IO. Vital part of this whole system involves interchanges with other tools. Strive to help the one-person army or smaller group style audience to allowing them to take their tools, to take their work to various tools for various needs. Adapter for FCP, FCP XML, that's the Final Cut Pro, CMX, and other EDLs. All right. Editor description language or editing description languages. Allow creators to take editorial decisions, complete with markers and other useful information into other tools such as image compositors and digital audio workstation for their work. Olive will support fully native open timeline IO integration as well as adapters. Yeah, that sounds really nice. Release goals, to have the combined usable, barely usable format, barebone no transformation, the ability to ingest footage of all types. So it could be that this is too new to be usable for us, but definitely worth following. Ability to ingest footage, ARRI Alexa LF footage at 12-bit. The gold standard for testing. pixel handling, audio synchronization, import and export. Maybe that list of errors that we saw in KDN Live for Windows was one of the gripes. Wow, I had to verify my age with Google. What the? It's from a year ago. It's the version 18 that was an issue. I see. Okay, but maybe version 0.1 is good. Who knows? Core support focuses on macOS. And let's see what's in there. Yeah, that's not how you use a board. Doesn't allow to see what progress is going on things, unless they have a roadmap function. Milestones, they don't. Yeah. Sure, what's up? Your 0.1 issues are unsupported. Crashes. You want to know. Feature request rejected. Bugs. Yes, and one report reissued. Okay, yeah, that's makes enough sense. And there's quite a bit of crashes. Spec faults. Will it even work on Windows 10? We don't know. There's no release, so we need to compile. Unless... oh, maybe there are binaries. There are 90 fields. Okay, let's try it. Doesn't look scriptable though, right? I mean, yeah, it's not even there, but it looks like a solid foundation and probably something to get inspiration from if we are to try thing with a Haskell way. Definitely much more of a DIY way. Okay, what is this? Multi-threaded video rendering for KDN. Rendering videos for KDN Live doesn't saturate 100% of my CPU power. When it's rendered faster, plan to have script like Pulverize to handle this. Can't find anything for KDN Live. Okay. Well, that's pretty impressive, I would say, being able to do this. What does the script look like? The bash script. So if you can script something that seems at low level, is it just going to run several instances and that's it? One pinned on each core, and then concatenate back the files. Waiting for thread to finish. Yeah, it's kind of like parts. Second argument, high value will help minimize data lost in case of a system crash on the progress. Number of rendering threads, 2 and 6. Yeah, so it's a scheduler, and then where Where does this said? Okay. This there's a shell script created for each part, and that is then passed on. That is then executed, depending on the scheduler availability, and it's using compose a file name for the thread output. It's creating a list.txt. Please, the in-add target information is a source Kdenlive live render script. Okay, it modifies an existing script, I think. All temporary files are prefixed by KMR. Input, right, has to be a Kden render script. For example, project 00sh. Got it. And then you will mangle that script. Okay. I don't mind doing that. Okay, let's try Olive before we try Kdenlive, just to be on the bleeding edge. Well, it opens. This cache. Sees the audio. New things. Okay, let's pass it some recording from Streamlabs OBS. How about that? And we are recording for about maybe 10 seconds. And then we'll see what happens then. Okay. And yeah, don't you wish it would give a little pop-up there? Let's see where it was. Right. Will it be in documents? Maybe videos. Yeah. Then can we just drag and drop? No. And import. Document videos. Okay. Can we play it? Pre-cache. No sequences exist in the project. Okay, that's probably the problem. Read the sequence. And 1080p. High frame rate. Basic setting. Apart from that, quality half float or full float. Okay. Resolution 1/3. Let's say full. Oh, that's the preview. Okay. Okay, let's see whether we can actually drag and drop now. No, still not. Okay, it's fine. Okay, that's pretty smooth. I like how fast that went. And I'm playing this, and I see it moving. That's the preview. Is pretty. Must be the cache, right? We're seeing some cache being filled. And so let's see whether we can change the resolution, the preview resolution now afterwards. Not clear that we can immediately. Sequence. Maybe we just need to create a new sequence. With full resolution and quality, how about that? And then call it sequence 2, and then move that thing there. And then hit the timeline and see that it's recording for very slow. Okay, very slow but working. Can we fit? Doesn't seem we can. We could full screen, but so right, the footage. What? Yeah, what's the properties of the raw footage? Oh yeah, it's it's low resolution because we haven't set any settings down there in Streamlabs. Okay. Well, it hasn't crashed. And that's the node editor. What's there's a we could transform if we wanted to. And here. Crashed. Send the error report. With no crash summary. Describe what I was doing. What was I doing? I could send the I'll put in a marker here and send where was I doing? I just imported the same where was it? You're not going to tell me what. Let's rerun it. MP4 10-second MP4 video audio source into two different sequences, one with the default preview quality, the other with the max preview quality for RAS 32-bit floats. When switching between the two, and I think double clicking on one of the sequences, Olive crashed. The exact moment is actually captured on stream on Twitch at where? I suppose I could clip it, right? Same Oh, I need to, if I want to be able to hear what I'm doing here, I need to output this to here. And maybe lower the music. Because we haven't set any settings down there in Streamlabs. Okay. Well, it hasn't crashed. Hasn't crashed, I said. Not you. Uh-huh. Oh, hi, Gansoren. Good to see you. And then it crashed. Okay. And segment at the playhead. Okay. So, Olive crashing. No, it is not. It is the Windows 10, but I had NixOS on the other partition, and yeah, it's working okay. I am happy that I am that I have NixOS installed. So thanks again for that. But I can't stream from it quite yet because the dual GPU setting with an NVIDIA and AMD card, that's a bit of a here be dragons zone in terms of NixOS configuration. So I'm exploring it at the same time as I'm learning about NixOS configuration. It's super cool. Sorry about that. And how are you doing today? Okay. Yeah, it is cool. The exact noise is actually captured on stream. And Olive crashing, and I'll publish the highlight. And I'll copy the video URL. Paste. There we go. Fun stuff. And yeah, probably, well, I suppose this report must have the actual version of Olive, but maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, let's see the version we downloaded. Okay, the nightly. I'm using the nightly, and oh wow, it's a rich text box. I didn't realize that. Oh yeah, no, that's not good. Okay, 19 EAB F28. My system is has 2 graphics card, an AMD and NVIDIA Titan XP. Right. Okay. That's it for the fair to send it. Come on. Really? Okay. Summary. There you go. Step to reproduce. I don't have a step to reproduce. You figure it out. Platform Windows 10. I mean, here's the crash report. backtrace, backtrace, and yeah, Windows 10, and commit hash, the about dialog. Yep. There you go. And let's double check that this opens the correct highlight. Very slow, but working. Okay, yeah. Actually, a video reproduction that has to count for something. Okay. Let's see. So maybe we put Olive to rest for a bit and we check out KDN Live, which we have installed, right? Yeah. It's actually even version 20. Like the other person's gripe, Unfa's gripe was version 18. His gripe is so so intense that I gotta verify my age. Is intense. Okay. No, not that. Okay, so let's see. First of all, can we drag and drop? Because that's where we tried earlier. And the answer is yes, we can. No profile found. Create and switch a new profile. Yeah, it sounds right, actually. You picked up, wow, that's pretty fast, and it just works. And we are recording for about maybe 10. And so what if I do this? It seems like it's actually also working. And monitor overlays. Okay. Positions. What did I do? I just clicked out. Okay. And so project bin, compositions. We see, yeah, effects, clip properties. Well, let's select a clip and do clip properties. Yeah, that looks pretty nice and detailed. I love the audio bar there. That's really nice. What's this? Okay, I can double click actually on this. That's nice. But I don't know what that means. Maybe that the clip has both video and audio. Probably does. And it's 1:1 resolution. Oh yeah, it's 1:1 resolution, but the resolution is crappy because I recorded it crappy because my Streamlabs is not set up for high resolution recording yet. So actually, I'm gonna make a little list of the things I need to do when I switch to the game stream there for my sort of prototype thing. Okay, checklist. Change Streamlabs OBS recording resolution, and then also activate selective recording. And then, yeah, we'll launch the Stream Deck timers. And then remember the cut routine. And then if I do that, then I guess I'll have some source content so that we can work towards the later stages of our type thingy. And let's see. How about importing guides. Is that possible? We can import and remove guides. We can edit a guide. It's not clear whether we can import guides. So let's see whether that's the case or not. KDNLive, import guides. Yeah, from MIDI, CVS, exactly. Guides are KDNLive. MLT has no such things. What's MLT? I don't know. Okay, MLT. MLT KD. MLT documentation. KDNLive uses MLT's C++ API because MLT++. Media something. ID setup. That's to develop on KDNLive. Yeah. MLT++. Okay. MLT++. MLT framework. Multimedia framework. Engine of a non-linear video editor can be using. So it's the underlying engine for KDNLive and a number of other things. That's interesting. So if we wanted to do Haskell, we could do a wrapper for MLT. Package MLT, not MTL. Yeah, MTL, of course. No, that's not what we want. We want multimedia framework. Yeah. Media Lovin Toolkit. Hey, designed by for television broadcasting. Oh, Pandora. Maybe not the same Pandora. LDPL, television broadcasting. GPL multi-unit video playout server with real-time effect. Melted, I see. So I wonder what's the equivalent of MLT if we search for MLT framework and GStreamer, what will happen? Is there something equivalent in the GStreamer in the GNOME community? Shortcut needs to function GStreamer 010. Legitimate interests. Whatever, dude, that's not GDPR compliant. I don't give my consent. Nothing. I don't care about what you think is legitimate. Okay. Really thought that. Okay, I have now invested many months in my life. This is from 2009. Ooh. So MLT is an old school thing. I'm a huge supporter of FOSS and it's considered my contribution to the Linux community. This is of news to some, but number one issue in trying to create a multimedia application is choosing the correct framework to build the application on. Two competing video frameworks to choose from, at least in the Python world, GStreamer plus Gnonlin, and the MLT framework. Gnonlin. We thought that Gnonlin was the correct framework in the beginning. So I suppose that MLT is the one that's winning this comparison. Haven't figured it out. OpenShot Video Editor is leaving Gnonlin for MLT. Yeah, as usual, I'm following the footsteps of the Diva Video Editor. If you're reading this, considering which framework is right for you, please strongly consider the MLT framework. So great framework, deserves a great logo just for fun. He did a logo, I see. Main problem I've run into, terrible support for .dv files. Okay, let's see, is this still alive? That's not, if there's no year in dates, that's not a good sign. Definitely not a good sign. On SourceForge, also not a good sign. So unfortunately, people have moved out of this, it looks like. Bug fixing this release, okay. If we look at the date of the bug fix, yeah, 2007. That's right. It was in fact a small bug in GNOME. So yeah, so unfortunately, this thing is a dead end. Too bad. Too bad. And does not GNOME GNOME. That's probably how it's pronounced. With the capitalization, it's easier to figure it out. Set a plugin for GStreamer to ease the creation of multimedia editors, where a timeline-oriented use of GStreamer makes sense. Let's see if anything has picked up the mantle there. The 010 01011. That's a bit more recent. Let's see. Oh, 140. 2021. Hold on. This has not been. This is not the end of the road. Let's use this PTV. Okay. Let's check this out. Latest release version in 2029. Flatpak. So this is of course not multi-platform. Unless there's a Flatpak for Windows, that would be really surprising. Cross-platform. Mac OS X. Yeah. Okay, the plan is to use GStreamer's Cerbero build system for building, then some Windows Installer Maker and some Mac DMG Maker will complete the picture. So it's definitely not the end of the line. There's definitely potential there. Okay. Project history, that's for PTV. Yeah, and I guess it's probably the same people maintaining GNOME. Browse the GNOME repository, yes please. And that will be the top level GStreamer features thing, yeah. Currently moving away from the current GitLab hosting cloud. Is that so? Okay, I'll log in with my GitLab account. And unfortunately, that page is not found. Although GStreamer group is found, but GNOME is not. Where did it go? GNOME GitLab. I'd move into GitLab proper. And that doesn't look like that's maintained. That must be a fork. Let's search for it in all GitLab. There's only one. Updated 2 years ago. That can't be the one. I don't think. Well, that's not great. Where did the Gnomlin go? And what were its problems? Terrible support for DV video file. Like, that's no support for mixing an MP3 with video. This has to be fixed. There's no way. No support for, it is 2007 blog, no, 2009 blog post. No support for transitions. Okay. I mean, I bet, so it's mostly a feature thing. It's a very complicated API. Okay. Yeah, pipelines are obviously not necessarily like an easy thing to wrap your head around, but we've done already that learning work on my side. So okay, maybe we can search for Gnomlin in all GitLab here. GST editing services. What is this? Aha. Could that be the future of Gnomlin? Based on GStreamer multimedia framework and the Gnomlin set of plugins, its goal is to suit all type of editing ready to application. It is excellent. And so that's, well, that started a while back, but it's maintained. Companion Gnomlin for non-linear editing for the basic building blocks for decoding and encoding to variety of formats. All the available GStreamer plugins, easily choosing segments of streams and arranging them through time. So the Gnomlin set of plugin. So you know that might be a way that we tackle our even more pie in the sky idea, right? This idea of this kind of digital linear, this mix between an OBS, a Ableton Live, and an Adobe Premiere kind of thing. Like, I would trust this framework to be able to provide a low-level engine that we could develop something that would be robust on top of it. And it would have the streaming capabilities of GStreamer and the editing capabilities of this layer, including timeline and whatnot. So this is the main thing here, is timeline and timeline pipeline. Most top-level object capturing every other object. The central object for any editing project. GST timeline is GST element. It can therefore be used in any GStreamer pipeline like any other object. That's beautiful. So, GST timeline did not exist on master. Okay, where were you trying to go exactly? Okay, in a folder, but it's not there anymore. Maybe in plugins. Yes. Let's search for it. Yeah, GES timeline elements. I think that's the guy. Issue, merge request, comments, commits. But it's not in here anymore. So it must have been moved to another repo. happened a year ago. Yeah, that stuff is less. Yeah, but, these folks are obviously putting a lot of primer on getting the code to work. It just feels like more the industrial side of things. Like they don't care so much about the documentation. And that's my experience with GStreamer, is that you gotta be ready to dig into the issues to find out what the tip of the spear is. Okay, so that's the traditional way in which documentation is created, so that it can be exported to the top level GStreamer website. So I suppose then the question is, so we need to add this to the list of our possible approaches here. And so here I think I mean PTV, and in fact I kind of mean, yeah, PTV with GNonLin and GES. Whereas here we're using MLT. And then, so the problem is that PTV doesn't seem like it would build on, I mean, that they don't have a Windows binary, but it doesn't mean that it wouldn't build on Windows. They seem to be confident that it would. So let's see PTV Windows 10. Did anyone try this out? Yeah, all of that stuff is just, that's okay. Edward Hervey started working on PTV on December 2013 as an end-to-end study for the Epitech. Oh, it's French, actually. So it could be that that would be a huge plus to go on NixOS, because let's see whether PTV is actually available in Nix packages. Well, it is. The build fails. I mean, it failed in 2020 or whatever because of a Ninja build issue, but is there an effort to make Nix available on Windows? There is. With the Windows subsystem for Linux. Maybe that's fine. Because I think one of the things that I was reading about is that WSL2 will have good GPU pass-through capabilities. Or maybe even already has. It does. So you can, that is the escape hatch. I suppose Windows was feeling the pressure of making their platform relevant for machine learning. So that's a whole other path. To get GStreamer and its GPU capabilities. So this could be maybe on WSL2, you know, in addition to NixOS, of course. Having WSL2 as a system dependency for a tool like this, it's fairly experimental. It's not like, it's more like it would be for streamers, so I don't necessarily mind. So, and then we'd have Nix. And then having Nix, yeah, we would have Ubuntu basically in there. And then we'd probably have PTV then. I mean, oh yeah, and I think WSL2 is not just the GPU pass-through, it's also the GUI apps. That was a new thing, like an X server. So if we can get that to work, that's also pretty impressive. Then we really have a Linux inside our Windows. But you know, the trouble with that, I suppose, is that then that creates less pressure for me to work with NixOS. But to get all my streaming stuff. But I think that's okay. I think it should attract me for its own merits. And right now we have the trouble that the multi GPU aspect is just not sorted. So as long as that's not sorted, it's hard for me to actually really switch my streaming to it. I mean, I suppose I could. Yeah, it's also because it's not maybe just. I need to test more things basically on NixOS. I need to also test with only the NVIDIA card on, which I couldn't do during install because I think there is a way to do it during install, but it would just simply not be picked up by the default drivers. So I need to retry that. But realistically, if I do my streaming, if I stream a game and then end the stream and then fire up the WSL2 editor, do my little check and then click upload and go do something else, then that's also perfectly fine. I actually don't want to reboot into NixOS. But then, yeah, and then if I do my programming streams, then I'm in NixOS, and then I do my programming, and then I can also launch PTV in my stream or whatever framework on top of that. And then we can pay attention to making it build for both platforms, but in the Nix way, which is obviously the better way to specify packages. So that's an interesting path forward. Okay. So that's where we work on next time. Let's see. PureScript Twitch overlay prototype. We've done something like that. Input channels to Stream Deck, emit data events. Right. So that's in the case I want to directly. That's more like the kind of the marker stream, or marker metadata stream. Or let me even call it metadata stream. Sending separate video stream. That I think we could say is we have a first version of that through the, how is it called, selective recording in OBS Studio or in Streamlabs OBS. Selective recording, so we'll try and use that just for the prototype. Separate source streams and recording. Then video processing. Well, we have like editing, like video cutting, bending, templates, and so on, right? So we know that the first version of that, we probably want to be trying to go deeper into this stack. I mean, it seems like basically what I'm saying is that I'm ready to trade the fact that KDN Live is actually available on Windows, but because it's not running on GStreamer and that I kind of think that that's the more robust video engine framework, I'm ready to pay the price of actually using WSL2 basically and trying to sort it out and all. I paid that price, but I also gained the price of if I do it in WSL2 and that I have Nix, then I'm actually working on kind of a cross-platform deploy. Because I can even deploy on Mac OS X as well, then if I can do specific derivation for Darwin. So that's a lot to gain. Even though KDN Live is multi-platform already, I think here what I gain with GStreamer is the fact that GStreamer has all of these machine learning elements already available, plus this GStreamer daemon available that would make the right interface for me to build like a Haskell or a PureScript UI on top of things, and then deploy that even then as a proxy server. And so that would be good. And then, I mean, it's true that we could also just do, just to get started, we could either do scripting FFmpeg, or we could even script maybe GStreamer, in fact, right? And then we'd be using the main pipelines. So, and I think then, even if we don't have any nonlinear editor at this point, then we should be able to generate intro and outro automatically. And then, so that would mean that we need the GStreamer on Windows 10. And so let's check how that's done. And let's just do that before we leave, so that we have this kind of more prototype-y way of scripting GStreamer. That's okay. Loading now. Download and install GStreamer binaries, runtime files, get the runtime and development files, execute installers, choose installation, search the folder. Okay, if you plan to use Visual Studio, close it before using GStreamer. Okay, 118.3, perfect. And actually, that's pretty cool. So it provides builds for everything. That's so impressive. It's that's just the universal binary that should just install on Windows without anything. But what is MSVC? Oh, Microsoft Visual Studio. So, okay, now I'm contemplating something else, which is that maybe we can avoid WSL2. As long as we can get the GStreamer elements, I mean, for later, then we could even package it as a... Okay, no, like my thinking is actually that if this works in MSys 2, and so MinGW, then we can actually automate it. We can do Haskell on Windows and connect to the GStreamer API through there. And then Haskell doesn't have to do any GPU stuff. It's all GStreamer underneath. I mean, like at least for this purpose of the streaming tools. If we wanted to do n-body problem thing, then we're still facing that. But we're probably going to just shift that to NixOS anyway. Yeah. So we install GStreamer first. Which one? The 64-bit version. And what's merge modules? Who knows? The application's responsibility to ensure that at runtime, GStreamer can access its libraries and plugins. Can be done by adding GStreamer root to the path. And then there's some tutorial built for Visual C++. Including some wizard stuff. Okay. Well, I will. That's a good place for me to stop. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be probably back after dinner. Is it really only 5:33? No, it's 6:33. My clock is wonky. I'll fix that. So yeah, I'll have dinner and I'll probably come back later in the evening with some gaming. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Take good care.